Dear students, good evening. Welcome to Law Excellence IAS. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 31st October 2020. The first article for discussion is Time for a Sponge Cities Mission in India. Here, what is a sponge city? It is the idea to make cities more permeable to rainwater. It means whatever the surface water has to go underground, ground aquifers has to get recharged, and later it can be used for various human activities. In this context, in India today, we are seeing unprecedented rainfall and various consequences out of this. We are using the term urban deluge to explain this. So, reasons for this are also explained in this article. We saw that in Hyderabad, Chennai, every year it is a regular affair in Mumbai, Gurugram, etc. What are the reasons? One is climatic. We are seeing an unprecedented rainfall. For example, Hyderabad saw 16 centimeter of rainfall in one single day. And next is drainage system. Whatever the rain coming onto the surface is not evacuated on time. Improper drainage system. If you take the Hyderabad as example, the drainage systems are antique, they are old, and they are unable to bear the existing population pressure. The same old drainage system exists even today, and city grew up four times more than the past. And many of the unregulated colonies, gated communities have come up in the periphery, and most of them are built on the lake beds. They fill the lake with the mud, and on those beds, they build the gated communities. These encroachments have took away the natural drainage system of these interconnected lakes in Hyderabad and wetlands. These wetlands naturally absorb the excess water and stores them. These wetlands today disappeared from the urban landscape. If you take Hyderabad as an example, it had close to 1 lakh lakes. Today, hardly few hundreds are there. They are also not functioning as expected. Previously, local communities used to manage these wetlands because they are dependent on them for agriculture and other resources. Now, what is the way forward? One of the things which has been told here is sponge cities make the water permeable to ground. And second, rainwater harvesting methods, etc., have to be built. Now, we have to bring in a wetland policy. So this wetland policy have to consider wetlands as ecological commons. It means the resources that belongs to everyone. Who can manage well these wetlands? Communities. Give it for community management and protect it well. Now, how to make the spaces permeable? Develop open, contiguous green spaces. And these green spaces have to take whatever the water fallen onto it. And finally, we need to have a proper watershed management and emergency drainage plan for the city. What is this watershed management? Let me give you an example. In Hyderabad, whatever the lakes that are supplying the drinking water to the city, their particular drainage, it means collection of the water has to be unhindered. So that's why a GO has come up, which is called 111 GO. No construction is allowed in that particular watershed. Many a times it is not being seen in practice. So watershed has to be managed well to protect these water resources. And as you see, emergency plan, whenever we see this rainfall, we shall be immediately able to act on this. Finally, water governance systems need to be improved. What I mean over here, we have multiple agencies dealing with water, municipal corporations, urban development authorities, irrigation, everyone are dealing with the matter of water. So let us develop one single system, organized, interconnected system to deal with the water. If we are able to do that, water management and dealing with deluge and preparing the disaster response systems well before in hand, everything becomes possible. That's what we need to understand. And I'm expecting a question this year. Previously also there was question on urban deluge. Now you can make this as a point. These points can be reproduced. Next article is about American elections, the swing state skew in the US electoral framework. Let us understand a brief about the American system. Popular vote, electoral college, these are two different things. Among the popular vote and electoral college, what determines the election of the President of United States of America? It is electoral college. Let us see what is this electoral college. Every state is given certain votes in presidential election, which we call it as electoral college. Let us take Florida. If Trump gets the majority in Florida, the entire electoral college of Florida will go to Trump. If California, Mr. Biden gets the majority, entire electoral college of California will go to Mr. Biden. So that's why popular vote and electoral college are two different things. Electoral college finally will determine who is the winner. So 538 votes are there in the electoral college, and out of that, majority means 270 has to come to a candidate to win the presidency. That is the reason why, though it is the presidential election, it is called as an indirect election in United States of America. And in this scenario, 2000, there were two contestants. One is George W. Bush and the other is Al Gore. And only Florida state's election result was not declared on time due to some technical glitches. Finally, in that state, George Bush got 537 votes majority, and that have changed the entire fate of United States of America. When George Bush was declared as elected and Al Gore lost the election. And in 2016 election, if you see, Hillary Clinton got more popular vote, 2.1% more popular vote. But who won the presidency? It is Mr. Trump won the presidency. This can be understood based on the difference between popular vote and electoral college. Here, the president wins the presidency through electoral college, not popular vote. So, electoral college is decided based on the states and in which state who will win. That is necessary to give electoral college to respective candidate. This is the point you need to take home for this exam. Terror in Nice. What is this article? Nice is a place in France. A person of Tunisian origin has attacked with a knife in that particular region and killed three people. Now, if guns were there in France, situation would have been worse. In this case, beheading of a teacher and then this knife attack, an attack on Charlie Hebdo newspaper, everything what it says about France. France society is built on the foundations of democracy, secularism, liberty, equality as principles. But Islamic radicalism is growing in France today. And France is the most populated, most Muslim populated country in Western Europe. Here, why this is happening? The extreme or radical Islamic factions, they see the entire history as a clash of civilizations. So in that case, the France with largest Muslim population is becoming a ground for this. See, all the Muslims cannot be equated with this terror. Only few extremist medievalistic mindset people are involved with this. So what has to be done? So what Mr. Macron, President of France, is talking about is Islam is in danger. So it has to be revived and regulated. Second, he also wants to de-radicalize the communities from this particular preaching by Islamic State, Al Qaeda, etc. Here, the entire world has to stand by France for the reason that the success of the France makes every nation successful in this fight against terrorism. On the other side, the radical right factions in France shall not take this an advantage to make the Muslims insecure in the region. So, always terror is caused by certain mindless elements in a given community. Attributing terror to a community is unwarranted. So, a tight walk is necessary for France to come out of this terrorism. That's what we can say. The next article is Signs of Monsoons. We have two major monsoons. One is southwest, northeast. In this, southwest monsoon is the most important and it is more or less well studied. If we can study the monsoons, predict the monsoons well, our disaster preparedness, agricultural planning, reservoir management, everything improves. But in India, unfortunately, we do not have a strong planning system or prediction system for monsoons. When we come to northeast monsoons, which gives rainfall to Tamil Nadu, some parts of Andhra Pradesh, it is not at all studied well. So last year and this year, we have 105% of rainfall over the long period average. Why this excess rainfall we got? Is this going to be a continuous phenomenon? What are the factors responsible for that? If we can study them well, it will add a great knowledge system to us and helps us for planning and economy. The importance of being Indian in America. Indians are getting politicized in America. Here, politicization is not in wrong sense. They are taking a space or part actively in politics. So this political socialization, increase in numbers, specifically in swing states like Pennsylvania, Florida, etc., is going to play an important role for this year presidential elections. Added to that, Miss Kamala Harris, who has origins or who is of Indian descent, is also making this election race more tight and unpredictable. So, Indians coming onto the forefront of politics in United States of America is good for India. It is good for India in the long term. So the bipartisan support India has today in USA can be traced to the Indian community there. That's how we can put it as. The next article, rules bar bonus for those facing sex abuse charges. Here, the wages code, which was enacted by the parliament, says that any individual, if he is facing sexual harassment charges and if he is convicted, then he is bound to lose his bonuses. This is a financial disincentive for a person not to get involved with sexual abuse at the workplace. We have Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act enacted in 2013. Now, under that, internal complaints committee has to be constituted. If it conducts an inquiry and upholds the complaint, that has to be considered as conviction, and bonuses can be lost just because of based on that particular complaint being upheld by internal complaints committee. Next is import barriers will not be perpetual. NITI Aayog Vice Chairman Mr. Rajiv Kumar states the following: Atmanirbhar Bharat is about increasing India's self-reliance in manufacturing, not against protection, not a protectionism measure. It is not against imports. Any kind of incentives given to manufacturing sector or any other sector will be based on multilateral pronouncements happened at WTO. He also clarified that India is not interested in protectionism. Now, production linked incentives, PLIs, are being encouraged by the government. Previously, we had input subsidies. Production linked incentives are output subsidies. More you produce, more the government gives you the benefits. It is encouraging the companies to produce more. Initially, it was planned for 4 sectors. Now they are planning it to extend to 9 to 10 sectors. Malabar naval exercise to kick off next week. It is coming on the Vizag coast. What is the importance of Malabar exercise this week? Australia, which is out of this exercise and a member of Quad, is also participating in these exercises. It completes all the members of the Quad being part of Malabar exercises: India, Japan, USA, and Australia. The final article for today, China gears up for strategic period. Remember, Chinese Communist Party is the whole and sole authority to run the government in China. It has kept certain new targets for 2025, 27, and 35. What it wants to do? By 2035, they want to double the GDP, which now stands at $15 trillion, and they also wants to double the per capita incomes of the people. And by 2027, which is 100 years of celebrations of People Liberation Army, also has to meet the targets of modernization of the entire armed forces. What is their slogan? The modern rich nation, a united modern rich nation needs a strong armed force. That is what Mr. Xi Jinping is stating over here. These are the articles for today. Thank you very much. I haven't bought my eye pencil yet. I lost my eye pencil. So by today I'm visiting the store and I buy that so that I can write something while I teach. Thank you very much. Have a great day.